We got breaking news. Georgia Bulldogs just landed a monster prospect. Ousmane Kromah, the number 5 running back in America, chose the Bulldogs over the Auburn Tigers. We're going to get into it. I got On3 Steve Wiltfong here. We're going to go behind the scenes of this huge recruiting win for the Georgia Bulldogs. But before we get going, Dog fans, exciting times. Hit subscribe to the On3 Recruit channel. This is the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube, and we love talking Georgia recruiting. So jump on board and hit subscribe. All right, let's bring on Steve Wiltfong to talk about this exciting news. Steve, really a two-team battle here at the end with Auburn, but also Florida State and Tennessee heavily involved in Kromah and would have loved to gotten his commitment. How was Georgia able to win this battle?
Well, they turned up the heat for Ousmane Kromah this fall. Kromah, one of the best every down running backs in the country, a ferocious runner in between the tackles with breakaway speed at 215 pounds. He can also catch the football and be dynamic in the pass game. Mike Bobo, his pro-style philosophy offense, Kromah is the perfect fit to be able to be versatile in that scheme and be a guy that Georgia can count on in a variety of ways moving forward to keep defenses on their toes. And then when you come from Leesburg, Georgia, Lee County, it's just a part of the state that has a track record for toughness and grit, and Kromah checks those boxes from an intangible standpoint. Georgia got him on campus for the Tennessee Tech game. Things really started to take off there because Auburn was in really good position most of this recruiting process. There were times where we liked Florida State as well, but Georgia coming on strong at the end, adding Ousmane Kromah. Big pickup for the Bulldogs because they are my favorite to finish with the number 1 class in the country, Josh. You know that. They still got 5-star defensive linemen, Elijah Griffin and Justice Terry out there. They just added the number 5 running back in the country, Ousmane Kromah, as part of their runway, their trajectory to finishing with the On3 Industries number 1 class again.
Yeah, a wild recruitment because, like you said, I think early on, most experts felt Florida State was in really good position. Then we get into summer and Auburn makes a charge. Really, we get to the end of summer and it seemed like, hey, if he makes a commitment now, it's going to be the Tigers. But you had always said throughout the month of August, watch Georgia putting the pedal to the metal here. If they decide to really make a press for Ousmane Kromah, you said all along, I think they can get him. So what do you think the turning point of this recruitment was where it just went in the Dogs' favor?
Well, I think it's really this fall, right? I think coming into the season early on, we liked Auburn. He spent a lot of time on the plains. There were a lot of good dialogue behind the scenes with him and the Tigers that we were privy to, and it looked like Auburn was going to at one point land his commitment, but Georgia really turned it up down the stretch here for Ousmane Kromah. He always maintained a really good relationship with Josh Crawford, but with Kirby Smart and company green lighting it, this is the kind of atmosphere he wanted to play in. What Georgia's done historically, that environment. Look, this is a tough, hard-nosed football player that wants to be challenged. The Georgia Bulldogs program and what they've done historically is one that's, what he was looking for. And when Georgia green lighted it, it was impossible for him to pass up on it.
So at 6'1", 215 pounds. I mean, can we expect to see him on the field as a freshman?
Well, I think physically he's ready to go, right? It just kind of comes down to where's Georgia at in their program, what's their running back room look like moving forward. Obviously right now they have Trevor Etienne, who has some eligibility if he wants it. Branson Robinson, who's in the mix. Nate Frazier is a guy that they've been excited about. So there's some talented guys in the room, but that's what Ousmane Kromah signed up for. He wants to get in there and compete alongside the best in America, test himself, and then ultimately win that job. I think that he is the future of that Georgia backfield and is a major pickup for Georgia as they maintain that standard of having some of the best running backs in college football year in and year out.
All right, so now Kromah's on the board, and you teased. I mean, you said Georgia is your pick to finish number 1 in the 2025 cycle. So what does the path to number 1 look like for Georgia right now?
It starts with Justice Terry and Elijah Griffin, the 2 5-star defensive linemen that they're trending towards Georgia on the on-3 RPM. Then you got receiver C.J. Wiley out there. I've been saying all along, Georgia's going to have a major flip at the end of the cycle, like they did K.J. Bolden the cycle before. Is it C.J. Wiley? Is it someone else we're not talking about? We'll see. They may not be done on the defensive line. There's a lot of targets out there for Georgia as they shore up this defensive line class, whether it's some of the guys visiting this weekend in Christian Ingram, Jeremiah McLeod, or Joseph Mabachu. But there's a lot of defensive linemen still on the board for the Bulldogs. They'd like to add a difference maker at receiver. But again, another big recruiting win for them. I think they're going to finish with the number 1 class for a second cycle in a row.
Yeah, and today it's all about running back Ousmane Kromah, the number 5 running back in America, number 115 overall, another top 150 prospect for the Bulldogs. Georgia fans, talk to us. How do you feel about this class? And is Steve right? Is it going to finish number 1 overall? Let us know if you agree with Steve. Wiltfong, comment section below.